He's humble.
I'm so grateful that you became our coach, Tony, and my parents were incredible folks, but I don't know if, anybody had the impact this guy did. Hall of Fame football coach, but even a better person.
He's lifted the Lombardi.
We're world champs, brother. World champs.
Woo! He's earned the gold jacket.
Tony Dungy, he said to us, our job is to win championships here in Tampa, but if that's all we do, we will not have done enough.
Now he's laser focused on a championship for the faithful.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
CMC, enter the dragon, baby!
Here's the 49ers president of football operations and general manager, John Lynch, with Murph and Markus on the Sports Leader.
All right, every Thursday at this time, he's right on time. John Lynch is sponsored by River Islands. Come home to River Islands in Lathrop and discover the San Joaquin River lifestyle with its lakes, parks, and schools. Start your tour today at riverislands.com. John also sponsored by the good people at Friedman's Appliance, proudly serving all of Northern California with a wide selection of luxury appliances. Visit them in Pleasant Hill. I would recommend it to see the Friedman's difference. John, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. We appreciate you calling right on time. You are listening to KMBR AM and KMBR FM San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus media station. Before we get into all this fan second guessing and all that stuff, how are you, John? Happy Thursday.
Hey, morning, John.
What's up, Murph? Markus, I'm doing great. Doing really well. We're coming off a really nice win at MetLife, and it was a fun trip for the Lynch household. We got two girls who live in New York, and one down at Penn in Philly. We went and watched her play a little soccer on Saturday night, and took the drive, came back up, watched our team win at MetLife. So good weekend for the Lynch household, and it was a lot of fun for our team as well. I thought our guys played well. Wasn't perfect, but played well, and came back with another win. And here we are, 6-3. Looking forward to a matchup with a really good football team in the Rams.
That is a fantastic weekend. You go to New York, great city. That time of year is beautiful. You got two daughters living there. My goodness. And then your daughter at Penn. That's awesome. And all right. Shout out the Lynches. Having a great weekend. And the weather was probably beautiful too. Nice little fall crispness, perhaps.
No, it was perfect. It was a beautiful weekend, and it was all good, man. So here we are.
Okay. The only thing is that Michael Williams went down in that game, which was really, really, really tough, which led people to think, well, now the same way they had to go get somebody to help their D-line, Keon White, before the Michael Williams injury, now the Michael Williams injury means you have to go get another guy, and you guys didn't. So what do you say, John, to the people who say, why didn't you make a trade to help the defensive line?
Well, first of all, I'd say, it's a real shame. Michael, just an awesome kid, and has been playing good football. The stat sheet hasn't been probably as prolific as people would like, but been playing really good football. He graded really high each and every week, and was, I think, really close to start delivering the type of football that everybody, probably fans, expected. But our eyes were seeing a really good football player who was developing. He's a great kid. It was really just sad. It kind of made a great weekend that I was explaining a little bit somber, and the whole team felt that. And he's such a great kid, wise beyond his years, and people really have an affinity for him around here. So to do it like at the end of a game, 3 minutes left, that was tough, and the locker room felt that. So our thoughts and just really go out to Michael, and he's going to be fine. Clean ACL tear, and that's no minor thing, but he's going to be all right. He's going to attack his rehab. I think it's awesome. It's not awesome that Nick Bosa did it, but Nick Bosa is going to be there to help guide him through. I've already seen the two of them down there, and so if you're going to go through something like that, to have some people, and Fred will be down there as well, and to have some people to help you kind of through that for a young man is going to be awesome. He'll be back, and he'll be fine. And as for the trade thing, look, the one thing I'll say is, we've been working on that for a long time. The deadline's just an endpoint. We've been making trades. We're top 4 in the league in terms of trades made this year. With Bryce Huff, Brian Robinson, Sky Moore, Keon White. We've done a lot to try to improve our team, and we did right down to the very end. We've always said we're going to stay true to our process of putting a value on players. And when the player's a complete difference maker like a Christian McCaffrey, you might keep going. But at some point, you have to have a discipline, and that's what we did. We weren't going to make an overpayment, and I think we like our group. We're fortunate. Looks like we're going to get Bryce Huff back if he continues to get through this week of practice. We add Keon, and he'll contribute to continue to add in his contributions to our group. They're a well-coached group, and that's what we have. We've got a lot of belief in that group, and we move forward.
John, to your point, you guys haven't made 4 trades throughout the season, so you've given up some draft capital to invest on the roster this year. So what can you tell us about that balance of trying to compete this year but also not trying to mortgage the future?
That's exactly it. That's the needle you have to thread, and we've done it a lot in the past where we've given up a lot. Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, just about every year we've made one. We made a bunch this year, but you have to stay true. And that's not to say we weren't going to do anything, but we weren't going to get fleeced. We weren't going to overpay. It's just not good business. And as they say, sometimes the best deals you do are the ones you don't do. And I felt like in this case, we felt like as an organization that was the best course. And we got, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of belief. We're a 6-3 football team. We've been in every game, and have another awesome opportunity to try to get another division game. We're doing really well in our division. We need the fans fired up and ready to go this Sunday, 1:25 at Levi's.
John, you used the phrase, we weren't going to make an overpayment. And then Kyle yesterday to the media said the asking price was too much. Is it fair to say that the market this year, the prices were too high?
Yeah, it was a little off. And like I said, now, when you have just a true difference maker, but the players were there, it was a combination of things. We were in on a lot of players. Sometimes it was just a one-year rental, and we really didn't want to get involved in that. Not to say that we wouldn't, and then, is the player a true needle mover, a difference maker? And if you can't say that, well, then really good draft picks, that doesn't make much sense either, just to throw somebody else in the mix, because we like the guys we have. So at the end of the day, we made a judgment, and like I said, we have been active. I'd kind of throw Kendrick Bourne in that same mix. We've acquired a lot of players to help this team, and now you throw them all out there, and we say, look, this is our team. We're a really good team, and let's keep forging ahead.
Yeah, and one of those players that you traded for earlier this offseason was Bryce Huff, and it sounds like he has a chance to play this weekend. So I don't know if you guys are viewing this as reinforcements at the trade deadline, getting Bryce Huff back out there healthy, but how big of a difference can he make on that front seven, John?
I think everybody's seen what Bryce can do when he's out there, and I'd say he has been a difference maker. He's been a breath of fresh air. It's always nice when you know a player extremely well, and Salah came, and had Bryce in our system. So sometimes he goes to Philly and it didn't quite work because they're asking him to do different things. But Salah, Greg Scruggs, who's a assistant D-line coach here, was with him in New York. So to have that kind of inside the building knowledge, and then our eyes to see the same thing. But I'll tell you that Bryce has been better than advertised. His ability to get to the quarterback in a hurry and be very disruptive has been awesome for us. And so if we can get him back, that's huge for us. And we hope that's the case this Sunday.
John, we're just kind of continuing. I don't want to beat the entire interview is not going to be about the trade deadline thing, but I did want to ask a big picture question going back to even March. I think you used the word reset in one of the interviews. I think I did see that. So is it fair to say
retool, but
okay, retool, all right. Is it fair to say that like you guys being disciplined and sticking to your process on November 5th, now the 6th, goes back to like March? Like you guys, this is a long-term plan you guys have been on?
Well, I think that's always the case, Murph. If you're doing good business, you're thinking about the now and the future. And so, I think that's always the case. Now, we did know we had an opportunity this last year with a really healthy draft class in terms of the picks. And if we could make those work for us, it could really help this team infuse youth and help with the finances in terms of throwing some young guys in there, get a little younger in the process, which we felt like we needed as a team. So we did that one year. You have to continue to do that. Having said that, you're never afraid to make a move if you think that's worth it. but you got to try to satisfy both, and that's what we try to navigate. And I think we've done a good job of it, and understand the fans. I love the passion of the Niner fans. I think also, our past history has created some expectations where every year we're going to make a splash, and I believe we have made a splash, but we'll leave that to the fans. And I love that fans want us to do things. We feel like we've done a lot, and we love our team, and we're going to continue to go out there and fight, try to improve. That's the huge thing. If you can keep getting better during the course of the season, you got an opportunity to be there at the end, and that's what we want to do.
And, John, we heard both you and Kyle talk about the importance of, if you guys do make a trade, about how it can affect the team next year. Keon White is a player that is still under contract for next year. So what was your review of seeing him on the field for the first time this past weekend?
I thought it was really good considering, I think, when did that happen? It was like he got here right before practice Wednesday. So he took the flight from Boston out to SFO, had to go get all his physicals, got on the field in time for practice, got some movement, got a crash course in how we do things on Wednesday, went to meetings, stayed here late into the night Wednesday, went out Thursday for a padded practice. And we're also asking the guy to play outside and then move inside in some pass rush situations. He worked all the way, got back on a plane, went all the way back east. So it's interesting to think some of these guys that get traded, all that's going through. I remember I met him down in the parking lot, and he had 4 big bags. It's like everything he owned he had with him, and so there's a lot going on in these guys' lives when they're traded. And I thought he was impactful in the game, and I think that's just scratching the surface. So really proud of Keon and his effort. I think he's going to be a great fit for us, and we're very excited about where it can go and where he is already and where it can go, because he's got a lot of skills that do really well in our system.
Yeah, he'll got to get settled now to stay on the West Coast, drop his bags down instead of getting on these planes. So look forward to watching him play on Sunday in the big game against the Rams. I did want to circle back on the rookies that you mentioned that you invested in the draft class. Sort of a tougher question, but there was some red flags this past weekend when Marquise Siegel was inactive and CJ West, and also Nick Martin still hasn't seen the field. So there'll be the critic would say that draft class is not producing the way you wanted, or what would you say about those guys and how you guys maybe make sure they don't lose their confidence?
Well, I think you just mentioned 2 or 3 guys. Nick has not, made the contributions on the field, and it's because we've been really good at linebacker. Nick's going to be a really good player for us, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. He is contributing on special teams. The other 2 guys, Siegel and CJ West, have made great contributions already. So I think this draft class is fantastic. I think they have been. I think they'll continue to be. There's 11 picks, and all of them have, other than I think Junior Bergen, have been out there and played at some point this season. And we think it's a fantastic class. The contributions have been great. So we choose to look at it in a very positive manner, and those guys are playing great ball. Really bummed with what happened with Michael, because I think, like I said, he was just scratching the surface on what he can be as a player, and we'll pick that up when he gets back, and he'll be better afterwards. But we love this draft class and what they're contributing. And
is it when you do kind of have to make moves like that on Siegel and West, did you have to coach them up mentally, like, hey, man, this is part of the process?
Oh, yeah. There's communication all the time. Such a big part of our success is the development of these guys, and that means going through situations like that. With Siegel, it was a situation where we had some needs at other positions, so it was a game day roster type thing, and it was hard to take him off because while he hasn't been playing on defense the last few weeks, he's been a huge contributor in special teams. And then it was a situation last week. They had a mobile quarterback, Jackson Dart. We chose to have 5 defensive ends up because we knew we were going to be chasing them all day. And so then you go 4 defensive tackles. So, there's a matchup type mindset every time you're putting together your game day roster, and those things are going to happen. But that doesn't mean we're not thrilled with these guys. They're all going to be really good players and have made great contributions their rookie year.
John Lynch is the voice here this morning on Umagesan. And John, circling back to that win over the New York Giants, it was the first time this season that your offense scored more than 30 points, and it seemed like you guys did an extremely good job running the rock with both Christian McCaffrey and Brian Robinson. Now, I have to ask you about the total touches of Christian McCaffrey, number 1 in the NFL right now, and it sounds like Brian Robinson is eager to get more touches. So what would you say about their carries and their usage moving forward?
Well, yeah, Christian's so good in so many facets of the game, and he's an extraordinarily conditioned athlete. He prepares for that. Now, is it going to be like that every week? Probably not. And I think what I can tell you, Brian keeps playing like that, makes it a little easier. It's still always hard to take Christian off the field, but Brian is doing what players should do when they want more carries, and that's producing. And you watch him the last few weeks, you can really see a rhythm start to develop. Really excited for the young man. He's a great kid. He's had a tremendous attitude. He's been a great addition to our team. The other part he's really picking us up is on special teams on the kickoff return, which is a huge part with this dynamic kickoff, the field position you can gain. Talk about scoring 30 points. It helps when you're at the 40-yard line or 45, whatever we were on Brian's return. He's doing a great job as an off blocker. So Brian's been a really good addition who I think is just hitting stride and is only going to get better.
John, I can't believe we've gone 16 minutes and nearing the end of our interview, and we haven't even talked about the quarterback. My gosh, that's like an NFL fine to not talk quarterback. What can you tell us about Brock Purdy? How's he doing?
The progression is continuing. We continue, and as it last couple of weeks, last week and this week, he's out there on the practice field, and we try to keep giving him a little more, and he's making good progress. Turf toe is a tough injury. It's painful, kind of persistent, doesn't go away. So you try to give him a little bit more without irritating it too much, and I think that's going well. He's doing more this week. We'll evaluate at the end of the week and see where we go. So that's where Brock's at. Mac continues to play at a really high level, and we're grateful for that and happy that Mac's playing at a really good level that's allowed us to win a lot of games this year.
John, is there any scenario where you guys would suit up Brock Purdy to be the backup quarterback?
If he's healthy, I think that's everything's predicated on the health. And if we felt like that was a next step in allowing him to get healthy, Kyle's been very clear, as we all, this is Brock's team when he's healthy. But maybe, at some point that could be the next step towards getting back to that number one spot. So I think everything's available to us, and we'll do what's in the best interest of Brock and in the best interest of our team.
And are you officially getting disappointed or frustrated with the Brandon Aiyuk timeline?
No, I think that's easy for people, but I would just tell folks, go back and look at that was catastrophic. All three ligaments. He did a lot to his knee, and I think both things can be true. He can be having a miraculous kind of recovery because he's worked hard and because he's different. Frankly, he's very blessed, by the good Lord with his athletic ability, and those guys tend to heal faster. But still, it's a long process, and you have to hit all the markers. And so, it's come along well. We're getting close to opening up that window, and we look forward to the time. We're a better football team when he's out there. He's a really good football player, and so we look forward to when that day comes.
This is a big one Sunday, John. It's a big one. You guys are 6-3. The Rams are 6-2. It's Niners-Rams. It's Matt Stafford, and I don't know Puka Nacua. He was not on the injury report yesterday, was he? Yeah, he's probably ready to play. He's been an absolute beast. It's McVay versus Shanahan. It's a big one, John.
There's a lot of intrigue. They're a really well put together football team. They're running the football well. We hear all about Matt Stafford, and I'll tell you what, I've watched him for a long time. Used to broadcast his games. I do the seventh game for Fox when I first started, and it was Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson. I think he's better now. I really do, and that's so much for the bad back, and he's I think that might have all been a ruse because he looks pretty healthy to me. They're just doing a lot of things well as a football team offensively, and then defensively it starts with that front, Jared Verse, Fisk, Brian Young. They're really, really talented, and they're deep. They're a tough team to beat. We were able to do it down there in SoFi earlier, and we're going to have to play at a high level to do it. We're certainly capable of it, and we need the place rocking on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. By the way, protecting the quarterback, whoever it is, Mac or Brock, is obviously a high issue, and we've talked about McKivitz, and he got beat last week. But Trent Williams had an interesting season. John, 'cause he's had a couple games where the film was not kind to him, but then he has had some where you just go, oh my gosh, look at Trent. Did you see that footage of him shoving? Who was it? Was
Abdul
it
Carter?
Was it Abdul Carter?
Yeah, on that
shoving
touchdown
him
pass.
about 5 yards. See that?
Trent's last couple, last three probably have been fantastic. And, there's such a high standard for Trent. So when we say Trent didn't play well, that's standard. I mean, he didn't play like one of the best tackles ever to play it in this league. He was. We do a Players of the Week on all three phases. They're on the board over by the cafe. And hard to get up there as an offensive offensive lineman. Trent Williams is up there this week. That's how well he played, and it was awesome to watch. He's I got so much respect for him because he's such a fantastic player, but he's such a great teammate too. His teammates all love him because he's there for them. He cares about them all. He cares about our team a great deal, and so nothing but appreciation for that guy.
I mean, he's going against when he goes against the Will Andersons and the Jared Verses. They literally, you get this with the older player but they were literally like in grade school when this guy was doing it in the NFL, right?
Oh yeah, I remember those days in year 15 when I'm playing, and you don't necessarily want the guy. Hey, my dad used to watch it.
Oh yeah, Mr. Lynch, Mr. Lynch. Let me help you up from the grass, Mr. Lynch.
might be time to move on.
Oh man! But on the radio business, it's always it's good to hear that. You're like, oh, I still have a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, but man. Well, listen, it should be a really, really intriguing game. I mean, it's Niners Rams. It's there's a lot at stake. You guys have so many different storylines going into this thing. So I know you'll be amped up. You're always very generous with your time. We appreciate you, John, and enjoy the heck out of the atmosphere Sunday.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Thanks, fellas. Okay.